Hello and welcome back to another episode. I'm Minion J. I work for the Disgruntled Octopus. This isn't the Disgruntled Octopus. I had a few people reach out to me in the last week asking who this is, and I think I mentioned it in yesterday's video. This is the line manager. So I think we're about time, my cat's outside, don't tell anyone, Salem. It's about time that we give the line manager a nickname or a name. So if you do have a suggestion as what we call the line manager, leave it in the comment section below. The ones with the most thumbs up next to the little comment, I will put in a poll on the community page probably in the next week or so, and we'll put it to a vote. So you can actually name the line manager. I'm not very creative with my names. So, if you're a bookseller, or if you like books, or you, I suppose, have nothing better to do than listen to me dribble and dribble about books, I need your opinion. I'm in no capacity am I a bookseller. I have said previously I used to sell manga. Primarily my niches are Skylanders, which is kind of a toy that plugs into video game systems if you're not au fait with that kind of category. And also board games. So if you want some pointers regarding Skylanders, the ones you probably want to be looking at is for trap teams. On the bottom of the characters, they'll actually have a red base. They're primarily the more higher end characters. Not all of them, but generally speaking, that theme would be one that I recommend to new sellers. And any board games that are brand new and factory sealed, look for Kickstarter board games or Kickstarter exclusive expansions for board games as well. So that's probably my two tips for those respects. I do like Partey a little bit of knowledge. I find that people don't really listen to me. And how do I know that? I can actually tell by the Skylander listings on eBay. I try and not school and not tell people how to do it. And yes, I am creating competition for myself. However, I suppose through that, it potentially makes customers come back. So they might not necessarily buy from my store the first time, or they might not necessarily buy from your store for the first time. If they get a fantastic service from me, or they get a fantastic service from you, they will come back more and more and more. So traditionally speaking, people don't say, hey, I bought off the Disgruntled Octopus on eBay. They probably would with my store because I constantly talk about it. And my repeat customers is through the roof. However, if you're a brand new reseller or you're a brand new seller in the Skylander niche, they'll probably say, I bought it on eBay, which I've said before. I normally stalk Facebook, I normally stalk Reddit, I normally stalk all those little, groups, I suppose, of fans or, collectors. And they always say, I'll always drop a hint or drop a question per se. So where did you get that from? Oh, I bought it off eBay. I bought it off Mercari. I bought it off eBay. They never say, I bought it off this seller on eBay. They never say, I bought it on this seller on Mercari. So you need to build yourself a reputation, kind of like what I have. I do jump into those groups, vocalize myself a little bit. I don't, obviously tell them how fantastic I am in the sense of Skylanders, but I do draw traffic. I do shorts occasionally for Skylanders if I get new lots in. Very hard to find characters because some of them go from anywhere from like literally nothing, 99 cents plus post, all the way up to about $1,500, $2,000 plus if you get the right character. Like I said, there are a few that I've had that are about that $1,000 Australian, which is about $600 US. However, like I said, that for every one of those, I'll probably go through 1,000 common characters. So like I said, they're out there, but not as plentiful. So that's out of the way. I've got my Skylanders out of the way. So, like I said, if you have stuck around, thank you very much. I've launched the Carter Brown listings. I'm pretty sure if you type in Carter Brown books, my variation listing will come up, much to the chagrin of a lot of people probably watching that. And I'm not too sure if that's the right word for it. I'll have to look at the synonyms later for chagrin. But what I normally do for variation listings before I get to this, I normally grab a whole bunch of books, and you probably will see it by the variation listing as well. I'm launching 5 brand new books, brand new, in the sense of 5 new variations a day for the Carter Brown. I have about 250, but I lied. I actually thought I had 250 Carter Brown books, but that's not the case. So if you are a bookseller, if you're an antiquarian, you'll learn pretty quickly if you're new here. Pronunciation of any words is not my forte. And I try and make myself sound smarter than I am, and it fails spectacularly. But look, getting back to my variation listing, right? So what I normally do is I grab a whole bunch of books. I use a room called, I use my lounge, my dining room to make my photos, but I use an application called Photo Room. They're not sponsored, don't worry. If you are a new reseller, I probably wouldn't recommend it until you get to the point where you decide you want to keep doing this on a regular basis, because it does have a subscription fee. I'm not too sure if it's weekly, monthly, yearly. I used to pay, I think it was like 25 bucks a year. And it's since got to $55 from my stance, I was going to say perspective then, but I stopped myself. It's definitely worth the $55 if you are using it as much as I. And I won't say I'm one of those people that list every day. I tend to list high value items like board games and Skylanders very, very often. I won't say every day. So I do use it for that kind of thing, and it does really well. It makes the photos look professional. So long story short, going back to the variation listing before I got another sidetrack, I'll grab a whole bunch of books, and you will see by the listing if you do click on it. I make the photo on my iPhone like the square mode, so like 1:1. Then I put a whole bunch of books and I lay them all on top of each other. Then I get as close as I can to get as many books in there, kind of like a collage or a mosaic of carded brown books. I do the same for all my variation listings in the sense of books, if I do sell them. I'm not a bookseller by any capacity. I'm very opportunistic. Like I said, I like to primarily stick to my two niches, which I don't really know board games so much. I know which to look for. So I would say that my board game knowledge is probably slightly above novice. However, on a scale of Skylanders, I'm probably a master in the sense of, you know, what goes on in that space. And like I was saying, is in previous videos, I want to try and learn a second niche, because if these things fall over, the market dies in this, I'll have a backup to move across to. And I do like the pretty pictures as well. So that's another thing that goes for me. So with the variation listings, I make sure the whole picture's covered in books. I use that as the primary photo, the primary, you know, the listing, you know, what you look at when you actually go past it. So kind of like a thumbnail for YouTube, right? So then what I do from there, I actually use, what I normally use is a variation called title. I will take a photo of the back, I'm keeping goals today. I'll take a photo of the front, I'll take a photo of the back, I'll take a photo of the spine. If there's any damage or, you know, faults with the book, I'll actually open it up. This one's got $2 written in it and pencil. I know a lot of other booksellers will basically say, you get a little razor out, rub it out, all those different things. This book is probably from the 70s or 60s. I'm not going to risk potentially putting a hole through it. This is what I learned today is called Australian pulp, in the sense that pulp fiction, but it's Australian pulp. It's actually a subcategory of books, which, you know, I promised a couple of videos ago that I would literally liquidate these in the sense of getting them out. A few people did mention that they are collector kind of books. You know, people are highly sought after these different things, and the ones I listed today, I think there was 2 worth about $50, and a couple worth $20, and 1 worth $15. And that's just by virtue of the pricing that I see on different websites, not necessarily eBay, because these books probably don't materialize as much as I'd like, just to get some sale history. But like I said, I was in on this lot very cheaply. I paid $200 Australian, which is just say $120 American, probably about £100 for about 250 books, or 250 carded brown books, which wasn't the case. So I'm going to lead into that now. So we're going to stop talking about carded brown. It's going to be my next fascination. Anyway, I'm coming down with a cold. I don't know what it is. So I apologise in advance if I stop and look like I'm going to cry or look like I'm in pain. It's just got something caught in my throat. You know, that horrible gluggy sound or gluggy feeling before you get a cold. I've taken some drugs or some medicine. Not drugs, just to try and expand across the US. Just some paracetamol and some cough medicine and some lollies to help in that respect. So long story short, so I was going through the books to do my collage, as you'll probably see if you already stumbled across my listing. And I was, like I said, I was under the assumption this was all carded brown books. We go from there. So I went through there and I found some Mark Brody. If you haven't seen that, I strongly suggest that you look up Mark Brody. So MarcBrody. It is Australian pulp fiction. So this is where I actually got that niche or that subcategory. I'm not too sure. Words aren't my forte, and I said that before. Mark Brody, I picked up. Look at that. I'm not going to hit my 50,000 subs by the end of the week at this rate. So these are I'm not going to give this one away. So basically this isn't a Mark Brady book, but this is the kind of thing. My dad, when I was a kid, probably back in the late 80s, early 90s, he used to read religiously what probably now it's called pulp fiction westerns, like cowboy westerns books. He always had them on it, and that's exactly what I knew what this was. Don't remember how old those books were, but this one, it came out in, bear with me, and it's got $2 written in it as well in pencil, in 1953. So for context, I was born in 1952 and my dad was born in 1954. So this book's actually older than him. It is the first edition. It is by a publisher. It's showing my non-knowledge of books. It's by a publisher called Phantom Books. Phantom Books. I was going to say Phantom House, but Phantom Books. Have a look at Phantom Books on eBay. That's all I'm going to say. Needless to say, I won't say I roughly put them down, but I put them out of the way, kind of like, hey, no, Carter Browns. Everyone's telling me Carter Brown's fantastic. Did have a lot of comments in my previous videos. Carter Brown. The quality of these books are unacceptable, right? So they are showing wear and tear through their very, very, very long lives. Some books are from the late 50s, 60s, 70s, and all the way out to the 80s. However, doing my Carter Brown presentation, make it look pretty, and hopefully you can impress you when you do look at it if you go that way. So I came across all these Aussie pulp, which I didn't know what it was at that stage, so I just put them aside and didn't really worry about it. And I thought it was going to be rubbish. And I legitimately thought it was going to be rubbish. So I just put it aside. I never manhandle my stuff I buy. Just put it to the side, and I thought I'll deal with that later. And and I have said in previous videos, Grumpy Granny, which is another YouTuber, another reseller, especially books. She's, I suppose my go-to person for books. I was going to probably send down her the scrap. So the 2 or 3 months down the track, when whatever's left over from these variation listings, I was going to send it to Grumpy Granny just as a thank you. We do a podcast. We haven't done it for a while, but we do a podcast, and it's coming back. So I don't do the podcast. The Disgruntled Octopus does. So if you are easily offended, or you don't like crass cephalopods, probably give it a miss. But that's coming back. So long story short, I went through this pulp fiction. I thought, oh, okay, cool. What's Mark Brady? So I typed in Mark Brady, and I was like, holy crap, these books are going from $40 to $150, like some of these books. So there's about 4 or 5 Mark Brody books in there. Might be Mark Brody, I'm not too sure, B-R-O-D-Y. So I assume he's not still alive if he's releasing books in 1953. But if you are, Mark, I sincerely apologize if I butchered your name. Anyway, so then I come across this book that I tried to, probably in the thumbnail, if I perfected it a little bit right. It's called The Evil Sleep, which is, I'm surprised the octopus hasn't pilfered it yet. So I type in The Evil Sleep on eBay, and lo and behold, a whole bunch of, probably really campy 80s horror, blood, gore, slasher pick videos come up, nothing like that, excuse me. So then what I did is I went to Google, then I found some Abe Books, and I know Grumpy Granny before, she's like, wait, check Abe Books. Abe Books is the one that she normally prices off. I'm not too sure, let me know in the comment section below below. Oh, God help me. Let me know in the comment section below if you use Abe Books to price your books. I know we do have a lot of booksellers that watch this, especially to lambast me over using variation listings or to bundle them up. And I wanted to get to that question a little bit later as well. Came across Abe Books, and Abe Books was the only thing that had this particular book in stock, or even listed, or even exist, and mentioning that it has existed in some capacity. So this one's the Australian first release. The one on Abe Book is, I don't think it's pulp fiction, it's probably like just a normal bound book by the looks of it. The one on Abe Books for that one is $399 US. So I can't find any sales history. I can't find any reference or on Abe Book in the sense that this book exists. It does have some spine wear where the staples are coming out, but overall it's in pretty good condition for being 71 years old, 72 years old, geez. It feels like a bit older. But yeah, like I was saying, is that's really the only damage there. And I have said before, get to it, geez. Yeah, trying to pad a video, I know. So at $2 at the top there, right? So that $2 there, I'm just going to leave that there. I'm going to photograph it and say, hey, look, this is, I normally put that under personalization. You know, under that little, you know, item specific, is it personalized? I'll just do yes, because it's got $2. Realistically, if the buyer wants to take a punt and get out a little, a little pencil eraser and, you know, ever do it so slightly, I've got no patience. Like every other reseller on YouTube, I've been diagnosed, not self-diagnosed, but I have been diagnosed with a condition that comes up quite often in the reselling community. I'm taking my power pills, and unfortunately the power pills are one-off, so you're going to have to put up with me living on a different plane of existence. So I do class that as personalization. Sometimes personalization I would take to be like, you know, dear Josh, you know, get back to work, love Octo, or something like that. You probably wouldn't say love, but I can't swear on this YouTube channel. So long story short, it is in decent condition. So Phantom books look like they're a suspense mystery detective kind of thing. Apparently, when I was doing a little bit of research on it from Abe Books, Abe, as in Abe Simpson, it was basically telling me it's all about heroin, which I don't know if I can say on a YouTube video. Yeah, sex, drugs, detective pulp fiction from the 50s, and all these different things. So you might know, if you're a bit better than me, I take this as being the first edition. So I'm just going to look around here. Hopefully you can see it. It says at the top, copyright first published in 1953, and I can't find another date in there, so hopefully I'm doing all those different things right. A lot of these books are quite foreign to me, in the sense that from a manga, you know, if they put it up in reverse, but you will see like, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And normally, to me, and from my understanding, and from what Grumpy Granny's screamed at me numerous times about, is that the lowest number is that version history. So if you see a 1, there's a good chance it's first edition. But these ones don't have a, you know, like first edition print or a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm not too sure when that actually came into existence. However, like from my very, very, very uneducated mind, I'm going to say that this is the first Australian edition from 1953. So yeah, like I said, let me know in the comment section below if I am seeing this thing right, being, you know, $399 US, maybe more, being an Australian pulp fiction version, which had probably been, a vast majority have probably been lost to the sands of time. Because like I was saying before, that one in Abe Books is just like a scan. It's not even a photo of the real book. And it looks to me, and I'm pretty sure it says in the comment section as well, and this is one of the rattier ones, that it's just one of these. Oh, make sure she's got clothes on first. Don't want to upset the people that watch. Not that I've got any problem with it, but like I was saying, it's one of those kind of books. So I'm not too sure. So I do have about, like I said, 3 or 4 Mark Brody books. Hopefully it doesn't come back and haunt me tonight. And also this Evil Sleep by Evan Hunter. And I haven't gone through the rest of these boxes yet. So there's a good chance that there may still be more treasures in there that I haven't come across yet. So keep in mind, excuse me, I paid less than probably 80 cents a book for these. So all up $200 Australian. And I'll be quite curious to see what people think of that Evil Sleep book. Let me know in the comment section below if you, I won't say if you've come across it, because the likelihood of someone coming across this book is probably quite low. But if you're a book seller, in the sense, you know, David that does have a bookstore, or Grumpy Granny, it probably was, you know, 86 when this book came out. Let me know what you can find about it, because I'll be really, really, really curious as to how to price it, how to market it. Do I basically put it on eBay and hope for the best? Do I send it in a paper envelope untracked? No, wait, don't worry. That's just taking the piss out of a few people. But let me know what you can find. I'd really appreciate it. Like I said numerous times, I'm more than happy to answer any questions with Skylanders, and a lot of people have reached out to me, so I'm asking for a favor in return. So if someone can assist me with what I should be doing with this book, I will put it in like a Ziploc bag, plastic Ziploc bag, to make sure it doesn't get any damage. But it's been sitting in this gentleman's garage. he did tell me for 15, 20 years he hasn't opened the boxes. So he was an elderly gentleman. He was upright and standing, so he that wasn't Mark Brody or Brody that was selling them to me. But like I was saying, is that any help that you could provide would be greatly appreciated. And a little last thing as well is that I know a few people had to go at me for setting stock standard prices. When you do bundles, I'm just referencing Mel back from Burnout's video today, is that I noticed that she had a whole bunch of books very similar to the ones I probably got here, and she's just collecting them in blocks of 5 and going from that way. Like I said, this is no disrespect to anyone, but would you miss the diamond in the rough? Because if I had a whole bunch of those pulp fiction or Aussie pulp fiction magazines, and I didn't know about it, and I blundered them up in blocks of 5 for $20. That's potentially a $700 Australian book there. And by the way, this is all of the Japan challenge, so that one book might be getting me over to Japan in one foul swoop. So please let me know in the comment section below what you can find. I've found Abe books, so if you go to Abe books, and if you are in a book space, you probably know about that already, so let me know. If you do find anything else, if you find any sold history, if Worth Point, I'm not too sure, but it is the Australian version. It was released in 1953, so it's Aussie pulp fiction, and I'm not really sure where to go from that. So like I said, I'm more than happy to ask for assistance when when I need it, and more than happy to give it when you guys need it as well. If you haven't already, I'd really appreciate you subscribing to the channel. My beloved Tory, the Geelong Flipper, he's trying to get to 30,000 subs by the end of the year. I'm trying to beat him. I want to get to 50,000 subs by the end of the week. We've only got, I think, 48,000 subs to go. So like I said, if you can assist me, please subscribe, like, comment. If you want to assist Tory, the Geelong Flipper, go down to his channel as well, and also Grumpy Granny. I will put their channels in the description. Like I said, these guys are fantastic. They do their own flavor, I suppose you can say, and they're a little bit less mainstream than what you would be doing. So I highly recommend those 2 channels. Anyway, we'll catch you next time. Bye.